Welcome. Today, we're diving into the world of education procurement in the United States. From classroom technology to district-wide systems, public schools and universities buy differently than any other sector. This video will guide you through how these institutions purchase goods and services, why their processes are so unique, and what rules shape every decision. Whether you're a vendor, educator, or just curious about how billions in public funds are spent, you'll gain a clear understanding of the structures, priorities, and compliance requirements that define this essential market. Let's begin by exploring the basics of education procurement. Before we go further, let's clarify some common abbreviations you'll encounter in education procurement. K-12 refers to kindergarten through 12th grade, covering primary and secondary schools. LMS stands for Learning Management System, which is software for delivering and managing educational content. SIS is the Student Information System, handling student data like enrollment and grades. PD means Professional Development for Educators. On the funding side, ESSER and HEERF were major COVID-19 relief grants, now mostly expired. Title I, II, and III are federal programs supporting low-income students, teacher training, and English learners. Understanding these terms is crucial for navigating procurement documents and conversations. Education procurement is all about managing public or regulated money to support student learning, faculty operations, campus systems, and research. Schools and universities must follow strict rules to ensure every dollar is spent responsibly. This means their buying processes are more conservative and compliance-driven than in most other sectors. Procurement teams are under constant scrutiny from parents, the media, elected boards, and state regulators. Their main goal is to minimize risk, not just to find the latest innovation. This risk aversion is especially strong when it comes to new technologies like AI, where ethical use and data integrity are top priorities. Why are education buyers so cautious? It comes down to sensitive student data, public safety, and the legal protections required for minors. Schools must ensure the secure handling of confidential academic information and implement measures to protect the well-being of students and staff. Legal compliance is non-negotiable, with strict adherence to federal and state regulations. Because these institutions serve minors and use public funds, every purchase is subject to intense public and regulatory scrutiny. As a result, education RFPs are designed to minimize risk, especially when it comes to emerging technologies like AI. Education sector is split into two main markets, K-12 and higher education. While both fall under the same category, their procurement processes are functionally different. K-12 schools often use NAICS and NIGP codes like 611,110 for elementary and secondary schools and 92045 for software maintenance. Higher education institutions, such as universities, have more complex structures involving provosts, academic deans, IT committees, and research departments. Universities tend to prefer established vendors with a proven track record, especially for large-scale or AI-integrated systems. Understanding these differences is key for anyone looking to sell to or work with education buyers. Education procurement, funding sources determine the rules. Each stream, whether federal, state, or private, comes with its own legal requirements. For K-12, federal programs like Title I, II, and III support low-income students, teacher training, and language learning. Perkins grants focus on career and technical education, with a growing emphasis on AI and technology skills. In higher education, research grants from NSF and NIH are major drivers, especially as ESSER and HEERF funds have expired. The strictest rule from any funding source always applies, so vendors and evaluators must comply with every applicable regulation. Let's look at a practical example. Suppose a school district issues an RFP for an AI-enhanced learning management system using both state funds and Title I federal funds. In this case, the vendor must meet the requirements of both the State Procurement Code and Title I federal compliance. This includes new AI-specific guidelines from the U.S. Department of Education. The strictest rule applies, so vendors must ensure their data handling, privacy, and implementation practices satisfy every applicable standard. This layered compliance is typical in education procurement and shapes how proposals are evaluated. Education data is among the most regulated in the U.S. FERPA. The Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act protects student records and now includes guidance for AI tools. COPPA, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, safeguards the privacy of children under 13, with new amendments in 2025 requiring parental opt-in for data monetization. State laws like California's SOPIPA and New York's EdLaw 2D add further layers of protection. If a vendor's proposal doesn't demonstrate compliant data handling, it's eliminated from consideration. In 2025, explicit AI-related safeguards are a must for any EdTech solution. FERPA requires strict access controls, audit logging, secure hosting, and minimal data exposure. No unauthorized sharing of student records is allowed. In 2025, new guidance clarifies how FERPA applies to AI tools, emphasizing responsible use and allowable applications under federal grants. COPPA, meanwhile, now mandates parental opt-in for any data monetization involving children under 13. EdTech apps and learning platforms must meet strengthened privacy and security requirements. State laws further require transparency and strict vendor contracts. Together, these laws form a robust framework for protecting student data in every procurement. Many schools and universities don't issue traditional RFPs for every purchase. Instead, they buy through cooperative purchasing organizations, or co-ops. These co-ops run their own RFPs, award multi-year contracts, and allow thousands of institutions to buy from those contracts. This approach speeds up procurement, reduces administrative burden, and increases contract value. Winning a single cooperative contract can give vendors access to over 3,000 education buyers. Major co-ops include OMNIA Partners, Sourcewell, TIPS USA, E&I Cooperative Services, and NASPO ValuePoint. Co-ops are especially important for large-scale and AI-related purchases. Since 2022, cybersecurity and student data protection have been top priorities for education buyers. In 2025, AI-integrated tools, like adaptive learning systems and AI-powered assessments, are increasingly prioritized, especially in higher education. Universities are adopting these technologies for literacy, infrastructure, and research. However, every purchase must still meet strict privacy and security standards. Evaluators look for solutions that balance innovation with compliance, ensuring student safety and data integrity remain at the forefront. Timing is everything in education procurement. In 2025, budget constraints have led to more conservative mid-year buying, with AI grants influencing December-January cycles. March through June is when districts spend remaining funds before the fiscal year ends. September and October bring new contracts and adjustments for the school year. Universities realign budgets after the fall semester, often making major purchases in December and January. Vendors who align their outreach with these cycles have a competitive edge. Do evaluators look for? Their top priorities are student safety, data protection, ease of use for teachers, vendor continuity, and strong implementation support. They penalize overly complex systems, unproven vendors, weak privacy protections, and unrealistic timelines. In 2025, AI ethics, bias mitigation, and responsible use are critical for EdTech solutions. Above all, student safety and data protection outweigh every other evaluation criterion. Vendors must demonstrate robust safeguards and compliance to succeed. Offshore service providers play a limited but important role in education procurement. They can assist with RFP analysis, technical drafting, curriculum research, compliance matrices, pricing support, and implementation planning. However, they are strictly prohibited from accessing student data, contacting schools directly, or signing any forms or certifications. In 2025, offshore roles must also comply with updated COPPA consent requirements for any child-related tools. This ensures that all sensitive data remains protected and within approved jurisdictions. Let's look at some real-world examples. In K-12, major buyers include Los Angeles Unified School District, Chicago Public Schools, Dallas ISD, and Miami-Dade Public Schools. For higher education, the California State University System, SUNY System, University of Michigan, and University of Texas System are key players. These organizations issue hundreds of RFPs each year, with a growing focus on AI pilots and technology upgrades in 2025. Understanding their procurement patterns can help vendors tailor their approach and increase their chances of success. Wrap up, education procurement in the U.S. is conservative and compliance-driven. K-12 and higher education operate under different structures, but both are shaped by funding rules, privacy laws, and cooperative purchasing. The strictest rule always applies, and co-ops dominate large-scale buying. Evaluators prioritize safety, privacy, reliability, and responsible AI use. Offshore teams can support pre-bid activities but never access student data. By understanding these dynamics, vendors and stakeholders can navigate the education procurement landscape with confidence and